Welcome back. I'm Sherry with Ratchet Up Your Art, where we take the ordinary to the extraordinary and provide a different perspective along the way. And do you have stencils? Because I got stencils. And I'm going to show you how to use them. So keep watching while we ratchet up your art. I have a lot of stencils here that I'm going to show you. These are some of my favorite ones that I like to use a lot for various reasons. Some of them are because of the big holes that they have in the middle. And this allows me to use those stencils more than just by itself. Whereas these numbers and letter stencils, I like them because they add interesting effects to other jelly prints that I'll show you in this video. I'll show you the numbers one. But in any case, let's get started. For this video, I'm going to do a two-toned layered print with one stencil. And so this is a stencil, one of my favorites, that I can use as either a mask or a stencil. Now, when you have letters and numbers, you will always want to think of the song, flip it and reverse it. We're going to flip it, the stencil, to use it. Now, the reason for that is so that when you take your print, it will be readable and it will be correct. Check out my other video on why I use two jelly plates. I'll have an end card for you up at the top of the screen of why I use two jelly plates. I'm going to load some blue onto jelly plate. Also, this is a good time to get out those prints that you don't like, those jelly prints that you don't like, because this technique will allow you to add contrast to those prints. Now, remember what I said, you gotta flip it and reverse it. So this is already reversed or flipped over. I'm going to put this down and I'm going to use this as a mask. Then the negative blue parts will go on to the jelly print. Again, if you have jelly prints that you think are ugly, this is one way to enhance them. What's going to happen is that the positive shape of the numbers is going to stay green and the negative is going to be blue. The reason why we're going to do this is because we want to pull up the paint that is the negative space in between these jelly print numbers. This is how we form our two-layered or two-toned print. And I'm just making sure everything's down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rub really carefully in between these numbers to pull up the paint. This is also a way to add contrast. So like, say for example, you have two complementary colors, like blue and orange. Whenever blue and orange are mixed, when wet, they form mud. However, if you had a blue piece of paper and you wanted to put orange piece of paper would really be the answer. If you wanted to put blue, orange piece of paper and you wanted to put blue on top of it, or use this technique, this is one way of doing that without making mud. So now that we've got in between all those numbers, let's see what we have here. So I didn't press very hard right here, but that's okay. But as you can see, the 2 and some of the other numbers like the 9 are positive green and the negative is blue. So this is the area I didn't get very well, as you can see, but we'll just leave it as it is. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off and I'm going to add another color on top of it. Let's go ahead and clean this plate. So this might already be dry, I don't know, we'll find out. So we got, it's pretty well cleaned, and we just got a blue piece of paper that we can use something else for. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add some paint here. I got a little bit too much because my brayer is sliding around the gel plate, but that's okay. And then for funsies, I'm going to lay the stencil down, take that blue and see what I can pull up here. So that's what we have here. And it's upside down, but that's okay. You can turn it this way. And so that's the print that we have here. Now let's see what we have here. See if our two-toned print. Oh yes. Check out this print. This is what I call a two-toned print. So again, we enhanced our ugly print by pulling the negative blue, and then we did a two-toned layer print here. And then we have a bonus print that we did. For this technique, I'm going to use this feather stencil, and I'll have a link below in the description of this stencil and where you can get it. And what I really like about this stencil is I'm able to manipulate the colors. So here I'm using some sponges with some different colors, the warm colors. And this stencil is really good if you want to do like a card or an overall print. So here I'm just applying the paint using the sponge to the stencil. And then just reapplying some of the paint, because some of the fluid paints are beading. And so I just wanted to make sure that I got those paints on there really well. Go over it twice. And then here's what the feathers look like. Now, I decided I didn't want to waste any paint. So I went ahead and I sponged out all the excess paint out of those sponges to create an interesting jelly printing pull. So I'm just squeezing all the paint out of those sponges so that I can get a bonus print. And I'm doing this while the feathers are drying. Now I'm just using my favorite craft paint, and I'm just going to pull this print using a darker color. By using the sponges, it also allows me to create a painterly effect with detailed stencils. So here I just wanted to get all of the blue, and I'm just rubbing really hard, making sure that the paint adheres to the paper. And I'm just using the Dina classic cardstock here, and then I'm using my Baron, and I'm going to have a video on Barons and Brayers and why they're important. So go ahead and hit that subscribe bell so you'll be notified of when that will be available. Here's my print from all my sponges. I thought that turned out pretty cool. So here's an interesting feather print. But let's see how the main one turned out. This is the one I'm really interested about. My gel plate looks clean. And look at that. Look at those feathers. That's going to make an interesting background or card in the future. So I really like that gel print. Stay tuned to the end of the video so you can see all these prints again. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed, please consider doing so. It would really make my day. Thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art.